Well, good morning, everybody. Today is the September. It's the Labor Day weekend. It's Monday, the holiday. And I'm here with a group of people. And today we're going to talk about how we got involved with the business. I'll start it off to give you an example. And then there's a number of people on the call. So then as soon as I've done, the next person can just raise their hand and tell how you got involved. So it was many years ago. I had a business doing something else. I had done networking for a number of years. I really didn't like it. I wasn't very interested in doing it anymore. I was traditional business. The guy calls me up about the product, magnets. And for whatever reason, I had a misunderstood. I thought they were the refrigerator kind, that you stuck on the refrigerator. And it was like a gimmick product, kind of like the pet rock kind of a deal. Wasn't really paying attention, wasn't listening, because I had a huge problem elsewhere. So I wasn't paying attention to what it was. And he kept pitching and kept pitching and kept pitching. I kept saying no, 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 no. Then finally he asked me a couple of key questions about what I was really having a problem with, which was the economic side of things, because the business went under. No fault of ours. The manufacturer we represented went broke. And then all of a sudden he says, well, if I could help you in this area, would that be something that we could deal with? And I said, yeah. And then, 2 months later, I'm in the business, changed my life forever. So that's essentially how I got started. It first off started with the product, and then it went quickly to the business because I needed the economic side. And then once I saw that there was potential, then I was willing to do what was necessary. I understood the business and so on and so forth. So that's basically how I got started. Okay, who wants to follow me?
Hi, Dave. It's Elaine Conley.
Okay, Elaine.
Hi. I got connected to Nikon 22 years ago. And the reason I got connected with because I was looking for a business I could do from home that was in healthcare. As a chief nursing officer, I had a major health challenge, and I was given a prescription for a wheelchair, told I would never really walk normally again, but I still wanted to do something in health. And I struggled for 7 years. A close friend introduced me to Nikon. In that 7-year period of time, I was migrating into energy medicine to begin with massage therapy, aromatherapy, different creative imagery. So when she introduced me to Nikon, I was fascinated because of the Earth's energy and the sun's energy. And to make a long story short, I looked at Nikon, saw they were a very established company. I had been in business for a couple of decades and a stable management. As a chief nursing officer, I knew how to look at a business. And at that time, we had half the products that we have now, and I bought everything in the catalog without seeing a product. And I did that because I saw the vision of Nikon. And so I started using the products. Within a year and a half, I was back on my feet and I had no restrictions. So it's kind of like a wow story. But as a result, I started an integrative health and energy medicine practice, and I haven't looked back. So I work with adults, children, and pets, both locally and long distance. And I'm just having a ball.
Wow. Fantastic. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Nancy.
Hi, I got into the business about 24 years ago and was given a friend called me over and said, I want to show you something. And she gave me the magnetic rollout, which was fine, but I didn't hurt anywhere. I didn't take any drugs. And I went, well, that was nice, but big whoopee. Well, a guy was there and he started talking about the business aspect of it. And my friend didn't know it, but I, for 3 years, had been 3 months, had been going around with my ears up like Dumbo's ears, looking, what can I do? I wanted to stay at home, have no limitations. I wanted to help people. I was a mom at home. I had and still at that time had a jewelry business that I did from home. and juggling all the plates necessary with, coming up with the concept and then making it and then selling it. I was exhausted and I really wasn't a jewelry person. It was kind of crazy that I was in that field. Anyway, so he spelled it out and I realized that is, Niken was what I was supposed to do. It scared me out of my mind. Went home and told my husband. We signed up 2 weeks later and I've been in ever since and I love it and I'm never leaving.
Awesome. Thanks, Nancy. Gita.
Hello, how are you, everybody? So my name is Gita Pimentel. So I learned about Niken in 2015. I was married and I learned about alkaline water with my sponsor for the visa here. We doing detox retreat. So she has another device and I came home and I spoke about my husband, very, very interested in having something like alkaline water, but that was super expensive. And then he said, oh, I have something that in the garage. So he had all the Niken products, the water, the air. And then I knew that he, as an engineer, he was very detailed before buying something. So I thought like, this should be good. So I made my research and so I said, well, let's buy the how do you call it in English? I'm sorry. Let's buy what you need, the filters and all the stuff. So let's put it together. So I started having those at home and I started like recommended to everybody when they came home. So in 2020, I separated and I was thinking, and also I changed career. So I used to be the representative of Louise Hay. I don't know if you know her, and I was a healer and I was teaching classes of healing techniques and those things. I didn't want to do that anymore. So I was in my personal time of, I don't know what to do, no money, I come from another country. So it's like I was just moving to this country for my personal experience. And I remember Nick and I say, well, I love those products and I have been recommended, so I'm gonna sell it. But I didn't know how to sell it. So I called the company and I say, I'm interested in selling your products. I don't know how to do it. And then they connect me with Martina Quesada. They say, well, I'm gonna put you with her. And then when I spoke to her, I say, well, I just want to sell the products. I'm not interested in the business. I didn't even understand the business. I didn't give a chance to understand the business. And I need to say, Dave, that it was in your video because I like to learn. So even if I didn't want to do the business, I was interested in learning about the culture of the company and other things that you provide. So it was in your video of understanding the compensation plan that I got it. I understood and I say, oh my gosh, so this is great. So this is what I learned from finance people, that you need to have an income to be financial free. You need residual income, right? So I was focused only in the products because I love health. That's my passion or my obsession, health and wellness, and people know me about that. So that day I decided to do the business, even if I didn't understand it too properly, but I say, oh, that's a great business. So that's my story so far. And I'm right now like an advocate of network marketing because it's the best business model, I think, and I'm willing to learn more and to teach that and to grow in the business. So
Thank you very much, Gita. Lynn.
Yes, I was introduced to Niken through a family member because I had challenge with headaches. And it was in an in-home demonstration. I've never seen products like that. It was mostly magnetic, and they had at that time, I think, a band that you can wear. It was a difficult time for my family at that time. My husband's business was about bankrupt, and we were trying to keep the children, who were very young, in the neighborhood and not having to lose the home. But I did go to an expo at that time, and really intrigued me the size of Expo. I believe Bob Proctor spoke at that time. Mike DiMuccio was a young man in a white suit. So I was, the community gave me that positive lift that I needed because of the financial situation at my home. I did use the product. When the water was introduced, that totally changed for me because I was just dehydrated. But I did have misconception about network marketing. I come from a background, it's not a real thing, and I had those iffy things. So whatever I attempted, it was just a community and being around those people, humans being more, but I truly did not attempt to do the business because of the perceived conception that I had about the business. And then life goes on. I raised my kids. We stayed in our home. And about a year ago, I just came back because I just loved the community and I wanted to be a part of something that is worthy like Niken. It always felt good. So I am reinstated and back, really ready to go.
Thanks,
you.
Lynn. Appreciate that. Connie.
Hi, I've always been a very active person and I teach exercise classes. So about 20 years ago, when I got serious discomfort in my feet, I thought I was going to have to not only give up my profession of teaching exercise classes, but also stop doing those active things I so love. And then a friend of mine brought a pair of magnetic insoles and said, just try these. And I did, and I was amazed. My feet felt better. My legs had more energy. My exercise class lady said, please take those things out of your shoes because you're way too peppy. And so it was a perfect experience. And I shared the products with others in class. They had similar responses to it. And I thought, well, this could be a wonderful side business that would seamlessly go along with my focus on health and wellness. And I love everything about it. I love the philosophy. I love the idea of balance in your life. And so that's how I got started, basically, a product experience. And that was 20 years ago, and I'm still teaching exercise.
Awesome, Connie. Thank you so much. Dee.
Hi, everyone. Dee Welsh, outside of Chicago. Almost 14 years ago, two friends who I knew and trusted asked if they could tell me what they had just begun to learn about. And so another gentleman came with them to my home and who was in Niken for some time and knew more about it. And, it told me a little bit about the history, told me a few stories of people's results, did some strength tests and demos. And what they didn't know was I had a lot of neck and back issues from an old car accident. And I also had sleep issues for 15 or 20 years, serious sleep issues. And I was working at minimum 50 hours a week on my job and all of that. And I just wanted to feel better. And coming from a nursing background, I was seeing the folks that I was working with did not always have great results from the medications, the surgeries. A lot of them did, but many did not. And I knew that I did not want to go that route to try to feel better. So when this was new information to me about natural energies of the earth, sun, and air, I was open to it and wanted to feel better as soon as I could. and do it naturally without side effects and without concerns of something that might make me feel worse. So I pretty much got everything right away because I had this urgency to not be dragging through life because of being sore and tired. And I started feeling so much better, sleeping so much better, not having the discomforts. And I had no plan to do it as a business, but I also didn't want to continue working, many hours a week until I was 90. So the thought of being able to help myself, help other people, have extra income, thought, oh goodness, maybe I could do this. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I really want to do this in a way that I can be a help to other people as well. So I can't imagine what it would be like or how I would feel now, almost 14 years older, if I wasn't using the Nikken products and living in a wellness home and having the joy of helping others along the way. Thank you.
Awesome, Dee. Thank you so much. Angie, if you can put on your camera, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Oh, there
hi.
you go.
Hi, I had to pull over. I was driving, but I have the backdrop of the rock, or no, not the Rock Hall, the Pro Football Hall of Fame behind me. So got a
wow.
little stuck. Yeah, I joined Nikken in 2019, and I met with my teammates first for a rental space of a conference space to teach classes. And it was Rebecca Brunswick, and she had the waterfall there. And at the same time, I was looking at it for a solution for not drinking water out of my tap anymore and then purchasing water bottles. And I didn't want to, I knew that wasn't the right option. So when I met Rebecca and saw the waterfall, I knew it was the right fit. And at that time, I was already interested in working with network marketing. But at that time, I didn't have the support around me with that company. And so when I met Elaine, who's on this call, and Rebecca, I felt more aligned and felt a little bit what you said earlier on the call was about, like, my vision of it was as working as an astrological consultant. I'm gifted in what I do and felt like people would be coming to me for, guidance in consulting. And I was thinking of a way of, because I feel Nikken is a solution for everyone. And no matter who would come to me, they need to find balance in their life. And so to do that kind of barter share in a sense where, they could come to me for what I have to offer them external to Nikken and then use Nikken as a solution. So that was always in my head. And then going back to the foundation, well, there's things that you have to do first, and you have to, the communication and all those things. So it was kind of starting at ground zero in 2019 to then where I am today. I'm at silver ranking and still see the vision. It's just kind of getting some of the parts to fit. And so
Thank you so much, Angie. Awesome. And we're going to get you there too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hattie Jane.
Well, to round out the squares, I'm Hattie Jane Derricott, and I live in Falls Church, Virginia. And I joined Nikken, 26 years ago, I believe. And at the time, my profession, all those years, because I was over 50 by that point, that had been nursing bedside in large teaching hospitals, directly in patient care. Administration was not my forte. Sorry, folks, I find this very emotional. Dumb. After 26 years, I find it emotional. But it is, because I also was looking for another way, because what brings my spirit and soul sadness for the next day, for the next hour, for the next minute is being helpful in people being happier, being healthier, being more feeling that they have a option of anything, of everything, but predominantly health. Because my health was always a struggle in so many aspects because of allergies and a whole variety of odds and ends and normal growing up. So when it came to what was I going to do when hitting retirement age on the paper, didn't want to be creaking around those hospital beds at 90. I couldn't do it. I was having no trouble now. And that was a very important part. I didn't have another part of me that bring me the same satisfaction. And my introduction, I had gone into the world of massage and holistic care, predominantly hands-on type of massage. And I liked it, I loved it. It opened my eyes to the fact that the people had asked me to come do their back rubs at night when in the earlier years, that was our reality. And still, even the recent years, people even had spinal cord and they wanted back rubs. Well, okay, my hands didn't get in my way of anything else. And it wasn't my mouth, it wasn't my ideas. So I went into massage, went to where my strength was. And that was very successful, although my body still was having its own problems. And I went to a lecture being given by someone in authority in the medical world. And he talked about using this strange product that he had thought was kind of weird, but by darn it worked. And they kept working. And he really enjoyed being a part of the business. And I looked at the possibilities. I looked at their offerings at the time, which was pre-water, because they were staying with a very basic intro of our magnetic fields. And it basically was like, okay. So on loan, I signed that I would be back the next week and that I would pay her the money because my check was coming in. My budget would allow it then, not this week, but next week. Didn't put it on credit, money up front, and wore them home. Well, that particular time, I was helping a friend throw newspapers in the morning, which means we got to get up around 4 o'clock in the morning and get there out in the streets and throw those newspapers to each individual house so that she would have employment. And then I would go on and do my nursing services on my other things. So I had a pretty long day. And I was driving back about an hour and a half in the winter, in snow and ice. Not that bad, but snow and ice. And I had been having trouble, of course, with exhaustion, which knew I couldn't run around those beds later on in life. And the insoles felt good, they felt comfortable, okay. But suddenly I had a second wind. And that's what we call product experience nowadays, and then too. And I was refreshed. I had alertness. I had sharpness. And I was still able to go to sleep. And I woke up the next day and it was still working. So the next week, I took back my mortgage money and bought into Naked, not because it cost that much to buy into Naked, but because I wanted the products to sell immediately. And so I chose the insoles as my entry into it and proceeded from there. Now, my joy of helping people and so forth is still my basic territory. And I'm working hard on learning how to retail it. So that's why I'm still at the level I'm at after many years, but I still enjoy so many side benefits of many people doing and achieving what I think is really valuable. And what I see with Nikin is that it's valued to not only does it give it to yourself, the ability to adjust your course of life as you need it, or if you need it, when you need it, as you need it, and also how to, with the ripple effect of awareness of this is more, we're more than chemicals. We're more than mass in many ways. That works within our society to make a healthier society, a healthy environment, a healthier exchange between peoples. So that is rather powerful from such a little thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hattie Jane. That was awesome. And thank you everybody else for sharing your stories. You know, there's a common denominator there. People figured out what they wanted and they went after it with a passion, and that's the drive of this business. So whatever it is that you're interested in, you can find it and you can accomplish it, and there is a Nikan way for you. So hope you enjoyed this, and we look forward to seeing you soon on the Nikan Highway. So you have a great day. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.